Good morning, everybody. Today I want to talk about the astrological reason why you attract who you attract. From doing this for so many years, I have had so many clients that have asked me, why do I keep attracting this certain kind of person to me over and over and over? And it becomes very disheartening, especially if that's not the kind of person you want to attract. But the good news is that there is a way to change that, and there is a way to kind of attract to you what you're looking for through the use and knowledge of your own natal chart. The reason why we naturally attract a certain type of person is because usually we have those aspects or planets in our chart. For example, let's say somebody is like, and a lot of people don't get into astrology like I got into astrology. But once you start really learning, you'll see all your aspects and your oppositions and your squares and, the final dispositor and everything else. And it'll kind of give you a picture of what your energy is, like where you are energetically. And you may not be using this energy, but you are attracting it to you. An example is this. I've said this before about people who have a strong Mars energy. I don't care if you're a Pisces or if you're a Capricorn sun, if you're a Scorpio, whatever. If you have a lot of Mars going on, odds are you're going to attract that Martian energy, which is more aggressive, more impulsive, more whatever. And some people like that. Some people don't. If you don't, the way you get rid of that energy, or I shouldn't say get rid, but it needs to be used up. Either you're going to use it or you're going to attract it to you, is a lot of physical exercise and a lot of intense physical exercise, because that gets rid of that Mars type energy, which makes you almost better able to see a person like that if they're coming at you. And it also kind of releases it from you, so you're not attracting it. You got to get rid of it. If you have a lot of Neptune in your chart, you could attract artists and musicians and all those creative kind of people, but you could also attract really weak people, really parasitic type people. And I always say, as most of you guys know, we all go through bad things in our life, right? It's part of the human condition and our time here. And we all go through trauma and loss and everything else. When you're feeling down, you might notice that some people, weak people, are almost like on the attack with you. You know what I mean? So I always say, when I feel vulnerable, as a triple Scorpio here in the West and even in the East, my final dispositors in Scorpio, even though I got all that Libra, I had to write that to somebody the other day because he didn't understand it. But with all my Scorpio energy, if I'm feeling vulnerable, I have to kind of stay away, maybe not make eye contact, because I know I'm going to attract the weakest of the weakest to me. And because I also have a lot of Neptune going on. So, that's what I do. So I have to work on strengthening myself. And I would say for any of you guys who are going through something difficult, because we're all going to, and the weak people, they're going to go through it too, but weak people tend to be mean when somebody's feeling down. They like to kick people when they're down. So you want to watch out for that for Neptune. Use it in a religious way. Go to church, be spiritual, write, act. I don't know. Just do something creative, but don't allow yourself to be victimized because you have that strong Neptune going on. It's all about discernment and understanding who and what you're dealing with. If you have a strong Jupiter or a strong Uranus, you might be a little bit more prone to being wanting that freedom, right? Especially with Uranus, they don't want to be tied down at all. But a lot of people I've met with, this is Cornelius. There's always a cat in the video. This is Reverend Cornelius. With a strong Uranus, they attract really, really, really kind of eccentric or non-committal people, which is fine. Like if that's your thing, that's what you want, that's fine. But if you don't want to attract that, you have to use that Uranian energy in a different way. And I would say work for causes, save an animal, do something a little bit altruistic to get rid of that Uranian energy, not get rid of, but use it in a constructive, positive way, because that's what the chart is. Now, I know when people study astrology, sometimes when they start, they've come to me and been like, oh my gosh, I have such a bad aspect. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I'll do another video on this. But there's nothing to stress about. We all have oppositions and squares and hard aspects. And if we don't, why are we here? Because we have things to learn. We have lessons to learn here. And that's why we're here. So if it's too easy, we wouldn't learn anything, you know? So don't focus so much on your negative aspects or who you're attracting. What you want to do is learn to manifest your energy correctly. You know, somebody with a lot of Scorpio or Pluto, you're going to attract very jealous people. It's just part of it. You have to be able to like see them when they come at you. For me personally, is like I can deal with a little bit of jealousy, whatever, but like if it's like getting usually I'll cut them off. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like I don't have time for that energy. Life's too short. So I'll give them many chances though, because of my strong Neptune. I do like to try to help people as much as possible. You know, I'm a teacher, right? But teaching gets old with adults. So what I do is I just cut off that negative energy. Internet trolls are a perfect example of weak energy. They're usually people that don't have too much going for them, and they have to write something negative to make themselves feel powerful, when in fact we all know they're just weak. So it's about the energy that you're attracting. If you're somebody that is tired of attracting users, you know, look at the Neptune in your chart and there's so many different things you can do to use Neptune in a positive way. I go to church at least twice a week. You guys know, or some of you know, I'm Catholic. And that's another thing too, is I really like my priest. I really like, I was led there by divine intervention, really. And I was raised Catholic and kind of stepped away. I always believed in God, but I'm back now. And the way I use a lot of my Neptune is not only through creativity, but through religion and spirituality. And I don't mean in like a dogmatic, like judging other people. Like I'm like live and let live. And that's the only kind of religion I will be a part of, because I'm about staying in my own lane. So, you know, that's how I have learned to use that energy, because I do have a lot of Neptune going on. So what you guys need to do is take a look at the chart, look at your major planets, your major aspects, and be like, okay, because you can manifest through the chart. Now, I'm not saying to use your chart as the word of God. God created the stars and the planets. It's just a little lesson plan for us. That's all it is. God is in control. But the thing is that if God gave us a tool, why not use it, right? Doesn't it make sense to use it to our benefit so we can create the life we want to create? So this is why I believe in astrology. You know, I don't look at it like, oh, this is, you know, I never tell anybody, I don't care if I'm doing a reading or an astrology reading, a psychic reading, whatever. I will always say, like, God comes first. I'm just like somebody who has some abilities. I was just born with them. You know what I mean? I happen to be like, astrology came easy for me from the time I was a little kid. Like I get into it. So that's all it is. And it's just a way to kind of say, okay, like I want to go in this direction. I can always tell what kind of careers people are going to be good at from their chart. I look at the second house, the 10th house aspects to all that kind of stuff. And I like to be able to do this because it kind of gives people some clarity. And as far as relationships, I do the same thing. I can see the type that is naturally attracted to you. And what I tell people to manifest something different is to look at a positive aspect in your chart and focus in on that and not the negative aspects, and use those negative aspects in a positive way by being creative, by being very self-aware. That's going to be really important, about being very self-aware of what your energy is and what you're attracting. Okay? If you're always the victim, you are going to attract monstrous people. It's just the way it is, because those kind of people are attracted to vulnerability. So you never want to be the victim. So you use all your other assets, resources, God, your talents, whatever, to not be the victim. And this is the key to understanding your chart and using it in a way that is beneficial and positive for you for the rest of your life. Thanks so much, guys. Me and Cornelius are going to say bye now until I see you next time. Bye.